Hey there, it's Christina Johnson here, and we are going to talk today about how to save time when you are trying to eat healthy or trying to lose weight. I think for a lot of people, when you do start to, try a new program or plan that's, eating healthy, it can feel like it's, just taking so much time that you're spending all your time in the kitchen, and it can feel overwhelming. But I think if you have the right approach, it really does not have to take that much more time than any other way of eating. And honestly, it actually can take a lot of stress off of you when you have the right approach to eating healthy. So I'm going to share 6 of my favorite time-saving hacks with you on how to save time when you are trying to eat healthy or simply trying to lose weight. And I'm curious, have you noticed that for yourself? Have you found that it takes more time when you're trying to eat healthy? Just let me know in the comments or click the like button if you can relate to that at all. And then real quickly, if we haven't met yet, I'm Christina Johnson, a transformational nutrition coach, and I specialize in helping people lose weight who have struggled for years with their weight and with their body and with dieting. And so my goal is to help people create a clean and mindful eating lifestyle so that you can lose weight for good without feeling like you're on a diet and creating a really healthy relationship with food. So let's talk about these 6 time-saving hacks that I have for you. And if you think this would be helpful for somebody else, will you go ahead and just hit the share button and share this video with friends or family? All right, so number 1, my first tip for you is to make a meal plan and a grocery list once per week. So I know this seems, this is common advice that you often hear, but I promise you, you will save so much time if you are actually making a meal plan for the whole week, making your grocery list and getting the groceries. Because honestly, of course it takes time to do that, but I probably spend 30, 45 minutes making my grocery list and making my menu and then going to get the groceries. But the benefit of having that plan is you're not waking up in the morning and wondering all day, what am I making for supper? I hear that from so many people who spend so much mental energy throughout the day trying to figure out what to make for supper. Or you might have a plan for supper, but then because you didn't have the menu and the grocery list all prepared, you realize you don't have all the ingredients on hand. So then you're making multiple trips to the grocery store throughout the week. So I know that meal planning is not always the most fun topic. It's one that, honestly, when I'm working with clients, it takes us weeks, if not a month or 2, to get into a good routine. But hands down, it is probably one of the habits that my clients tell me at the end of working together that has been most critical to their success. And I promise you, it will save you time and mental energy when you really start getting into a good meal planning routine. So that's my first tip for you. My second one is a pretty common one these days with everything going on in the past year, but it's to order your groceries online. And so obviously that's going to save you time. But what I've noticed, especially for example, in my 21-day clean eating reset that I offer, there's a lot of recipes in there that use ingredients that people are often unfamiliar with. So grocery shopping, when you're starting a new program or plan or way of eating, can sometimes take a little longer because you don't even know where to find half of the ingredients. And so for a lot of people, especially in the beginning of a new way of eating, it's easier just to order it online and have somebody else find those ingredients for you. So that can be a way to save a little bit of time as well. Okay, my third tip, this is my motto in life. It is to cook once and eat twice. To be honest, it could be eat 3 times or 4 times. So really the idea behind this is anytime I'm going to spend time in the kitchen cooking a meal, I really want to make sure that I make enough that meal could last my husband and I for 2 or 3 different days. So I haven't always been a huge fan of leftovers, but over the past several years, it just saves so much time. I don't want to cook every single day. And so to be honest, my husband and I will often cook 3, maybe 4 nights a week, and we always will double a recipe or just make a recipe that's big enough for us to eat off of for 2 or 3 different nights. So just think about that. When you're cooking, how could you make more to make it last longer? Or if you're cooking tacos, for example, could you also make some extra ground meat for something else the next night? So just be efficient. When you're in the kitchen, see how much, see if you can just make that food last a little bit longer. Okay, number 4, my 4th tip for you is on Sundays, and it doesn't have to be Sunday, but for me it's always been Sunday, set aside time to prepare your lunch for the entire week. So if you work, a traditional Monday through Friday job, it's Sunday often works well, a Sunday afternoon or evening, but can you make one batch of something that will last you every single day for lunches? So for example, maybe you want to make, a big batch of soup and get some things ready for salads that you could eat off of for the entire week. Saves so much time because at night then you don't really have to think about packing your lunch or what you're going to put together, or at lunch the next day, you just reheat whatever it is that you had already prepared. Lori says, yes. Yeah, you do the cook once, eat twice. It just saves so much time. Why be in the kitchen every day when you can just make extra? So it's a great strategy. But yeah, so on Sundays, you can prepare your lunch for the entire week, but then also, not every week, but many weeks, we will often make something for breakfast as well. Especially in the winter, I like more of a warm breakfast. In the summers, I'll do smoothies and things like that, which are easy to make throughout the week. But in the winter, maybe I'll make an egg bake, and then my husband and I can just reheat that through the week. Or like a sausage sweet potato hash. We'll do that quite often as well. So then again, you're maybe spending an hour and a half or so on Sunday preparing breakfast and lunch for the week, but then you're done. Like, you don't have to do it every single day. So it's a huge time saver to just think ahead. Number 5, my next tip for you is to start compiling a list of some go-to recipes. So create a list, like try to get, I would say at least 10 or 15 different recipes on this list that are things that your family enjoys, that is pretty easy, like 30 minutes or less to put together, and that you're familiar with. Because what I found is, if you're trying new recipes all the time, it just takes extra time. How many of you have noticed that cooking a new recipe usually takes longer than, the second, third, or fourth time that you've made it. So for nights where you just don't have a lot of free time, like maybe work nights, then maybe you do just have this list of like 10 recipes that you rotate through. Things that always go over well, that are easy to make, that you could almost make without even having a recipe. It just, again, will save so much time for yourself. And then when you have a little extra time, maybe on the weekend, and you want to prepare a new recipe, then go ahead and do that then. But honestly, for my husband and I, our weeknight meals are pretty simple. We will, most of the time, just find some meat, like bake some chicken, grill some burgers or steak or pork chops or whatever. We'll make the meat, we'll roast some vegetables, maybe cut up a sweet potato to roast. And honestly, that takes us like 10 minutes to prepare, and then we just wait for it to be done. So it doesn't have to be complicated to eat healthy. Okay, my last tip for you are just some general time-saving hacks. So in my Clean Eating Reset program, I put together a bonus for people in there that's, I think it's called Cooking and Food Prep Tips. So lots of just little things that you can do to save time. So just for an example, like one easy thing to do is to buy a pre-cooked rotisserie chicken that you can shred and just add to salads or add to a soup. That's a great way just to save some time throughout the week. Or of course, buying pre-cut vegetables. If you are really crunched on time, then that might be a great way to cut some corners and save some time. Or even buying frozen fruit and vegetables can often be time saving because you don't have to wash them and chop them. They're already ready to go. So there's little things like that too that can make the process easier. And so really, I have one other like little bonus tip, but I just want to say that I totally acknowledge that when you're learning to eat healthy, especially eating clean, there is a learning curve in the beginning, and it does take some extra time. Because I remember for myself, before I started eating clean, I did cook chicken on like a George Foreman grill, but I really didn't know how to cook meat. I had no idea how to really chop an onion or garlic or sweet potatoes. And so it did take some time in the beginning to just figure those things out, to get comfortable chopping vegetables, to get faster at it. So know too that as you get more comfortable with preparing whole foods, it gets so much easier and so much faster. So there is a learning curve. It does take a little bit of time. I totally get that. But there are also ways to make that easier. And I would say, if you notice from the theme of my tips here, probably the biggest thing is planning. The more you can plan in advance, the easier it is as you go throughout the week. And so I'm curious, if you're watching live or on the replay, do you have any other little tips that you use to save time in the kitchen? I would be very interested to hear that. And then lastly, the other thing that I wanted to say is that if you are, let's say, wanting to lose weight or trying to eat clean or improve your health, another huge way to save time is to get support. So it can feel really overwhelming when you're trying to figure out like what program or plan is going to work for you, when you're trying to look for new recipes, trying to, adapt it for you and your family. It can feel really overwhelming. And so that's one of the reasons why I created my 21-day clean eating reset, because I just lay everything out. It is a step-by-step plan to follow where I give you weekly meal plans and recipes. I give you, we have weekly coaching calls so that I can guide you live through the program, answer any questions that you have, help you personalize it for yourself. And then even like every single day, we have a private group forum where I will answer your questions. So you can get answers quickly without having to do a bunch of Googling all on your own. And honestly, I think back to when I first started eating clean, what happened for me was I had a naturopath I was working with who recommended it. And so he gave me this list of foods to avoid and foods that I should be eating. I mean, have any of you ever worked with like a nutritionist, some kind of health practitioner who just like gives you a list of foods and says, okay, well, this is what you should be eating? That was my experience. And that's also, I talk to so many of my clients who say they've gotten a list of food, they know what they should eat, what they should avoid. But from there, it's like, it can be really overwhelming with how do you start? And so I remember I just spent hours looking up, okay, well, what kinds of recipes can I cook and prepare, and how do I make this work for me? And so it just took a lot of time in the beginning to figure it all out on my own. And I truly wish I had somebody that could just say, okay, this is how you get started, and somebody that I could ask questions of. And so that's another big reason why I created my clean eating reset, because I just want to like shorten that learning curve for you, because I know how powerful it is to begin eating clean. You will lose weight, yes, but you will have such lowered levels of inflammation in your body because of it, that you will also have so much more energy. Your aches and pains will improve, your digestion improves, your skin looks better. Like, it is amazing how much better people feel after just 3 weeks. And so if you're interested in getting some support with that, I would love to invite you to join the Winter Clean Eating Reset. We begin next Monday, the 25th of January. So make sure you register live, because we actually have our kickoff call this Thursday, so register soon. You can go to ChristinaJohnsonWellness.com/winter-reset. I'll put the link in the comments when I'm done. But I would love to have you join and to just guide you through the process of eating clean for 3 weeks. Okay, I'm looking at, Lori has a comment here. Freeze a few containers of soup or main dish. Yes, that is a great idea too. It kind of goes back to the motto of cook once, eat twice. You can double a batch of soup. I can't talk today. Double a batch of soup and then freeze it like in even single serving containers that you can just pull out and reheat later. That is a great suggestion. Thanks, Lori. So yeah, there's just so many ways to make eating healthy work for you without spending hours and hours in the kitchen. And that's my goal, is to help you make this fit and work into your lifestyle, into how much time you have, into your budget. I think that's another thing people worry about when you eat healthy, that you're going to be spending so much more on groceries. But again, I think people find that when you're planning that actually you're not buying as much extra stuff, and you can actually stick to a pretty good grocery budget this way as well. So anyway, that's a little side note for today, but I would love to invite you once again to join us in the Winter Clean Eating Reset. I promise that you will have everything you need to be successful, and you will feel amazing by the end of it. You will lose weight and just feel so much better. So if you're interested, go to ChristinaJohnsonWellness.com/winter-reset. And if you have any questions about saving time in the kitchen or any additional tips, feel free to put that in the comments as well. I would love to hear them. So have a wonderful day, and we will talk to you again soon. Bye.